Hi, this is Graphically Alex coming at you with all things fat related. If that's something that interests you, please subscribe. I'd love to have you. Today, I want to go ahead and talk about the fact that apparently Leo Skepi has triggered FA by this take. So basically, to put it in a nutshell, he essentially said that he thinks that certain brands should be able to not accommodate very fat people. So I want to go ahead and listen to his full take. I'm going to react to it as he talks, and then we're going to go over some FA TikTokers that responded to him. Okay, so let's go ahead and do it. I actually haven't listened to this whole thing yet, so let's see. Let's see what he says.
A brand not making your size in something does not give you grounds to talk shit and degrade the brand. Brands are allowed to want a certain look and image with their products.
Okay, so what I will say, first and foremost, is I guess I'm not FA enough because I don't understand this obsession with brands that a lot of fat acceptance TikTokers have. Like, I can think of all the issues that I've had as an overweight person, and brands is probably the least I've ever thought about. Basically, it's like, I guess that could just be a personality difference, but to me, it's very superficial to care about brands. So who cares? Like, for me, all I care about is if something looks good, basically. Like, I'm not one of those people that cares about a name or anything like that. I take it that Leo does, but I guess he's not okay with somebody not liking a brand, which I think is a little weird, but okay.
They are allowed to make things for the people they want to make them for. I've been seeing too.
That's true. So I also think there is this very weird idea within fat acceptance that people are supposed to make something, like people are supposed to create business or create a product for you. And it's like, if you don't have the money, or like if you don't want to give them the money because it doesn't appeal to you or it doesn't accommodate you, then that's it. You just kind of let the market speak for itself. If people want to make money on a name or they want it to have a certain connotation, I remember there was this like Abercrombie and Fitch scandal a while back because he was like, I don't want fat people wearing my clothes or whatever. To me, it's just like, whatever. I always felt like Abercrombie and Fitch was kind of basic a little bit, and just, I don't know. I guess to me, it just doesn't matter. I have a hard time sometimes with the fat acceptance stuff because there's such a deflection on things that don't ultimately matter. And I didn't even care about that when I was a teenager. So I don't think it's just an age thing either, in my opinion anyway.
Many people talking shit recently, and it's pissing me off. People are allowed to have preferences, and brands are allowed to create an image with what they want and have a specific type of person wear what they have.
That's true. That's 100% true. You're not entitled to anybody's brand. You're not entitled to anybody's product. You're not entitled for somebody to make something for you. For example, I don't make these videos for fat activists. I make these videos for other people. For people who want to fight the movement, for people who want to understand fatness better. I make it for people who are overweight, especially very overweight, that are looking to lose weight. That's who I'm talking to with these videos. I don't have to appeal to Jordan Underwood. I don't have to appeal to Abby or to Victoria. I don't have to. You know, I'm making these videos for other people. So everybody who's creative, who has a business or whatever, they have a right to appeal to or try to accommodate whatever they want. And that's just straight up facts.
Not everybody needs to be catered to by everything and everyone.
That's true. A lot of times too, when you have situations that everything is catered to by everyone, it waters everything down and it makes things useless or boring or just too uniform, at least for my taste. You know, if Leo cares so much about brands, he can care about brands. I don't. I'm never going to spend more money on something that's not worth it, that I think is ugly. Which a lot of like the brand name stuff, I personally think is kind of ugly. I'm not going to lie. So I would never see it as worth that much. But a lot of people, they kind of think like, oh, this brand, it's expensive, so it means something. Or it means something to that person. And if that's you, then that's you. You know what I'm saying? That's who they're trying to appeal to. So, I don't know.
This is a lesson I had to learn when I was fucking fat. I used to think clothes just weren't flattering.
I wonder how fat he was. I really should have done more research, but I did do research on him. He does like a podcast and he's kind of like philosopher. I saw that he used to be a nurse, you know, so I have done some research on him. But I don't know like how fat he was. I would think maybe not that fat. I'm guessing probably not smo, probably not in that zone. That's my guess, but I could be wrong, I guess. You never know.
No, babe, the body wasn't fucking flattering. But a lot of brands don't make my size in a lot of shit still. And if a piece of...
Yeah, he's very tall. He's like 6'7". So that's tricky. And that's not always going to be accommodated either because it's not super common.
Clothing is not flattering on you. It doesn't mean the item or product is not flattering or is not good. It's not made for you. I'm a size 16 shoe. A lot of brands don't make my size. Do I waste my time and lend my energy and focus to what I don't want and what I can't have and attacking brands for not making my...
Yeah, he's dead on here. This is so... Yeah.
fucking size?
It's a very, very, very great analogy. It's a very good point. It's dead on.
No. Every single human being is very powerful. You have to be careful with where you put your attention and your focus. For you to stick your attention and your energy on what doesn't work for you, what is not made for you, and what brands don't want you to wear their fucking shit, you're never gonna have mental space to think and look for and discover brands that are made for you. You can't keep focusing on what you don't want and find what you do want. Get your fucking attention off of the shit that's not for you and the things you don't like.
Yeah, so it's like his philosophy stuff that I was talking about. I don't know, you know, I'm not exactly... I don't agree with that. I mean, I don't know if I should get philosophical here, but I'm not huge into like manifestation, law of attraction. I'm just not convinced. Honestly, I just think there's less control in the universe, so to speak, or like we can't control everything. I don't believe in that. I don't think that that's true. And like, for example, my channel, I focus a lot on fat acceptance, particularly because I'm trying to attack it and dismantle it and do all that kind of stuff. So if I believed what he believed, then I wouldn't be doing this channel. So clearly, I don't think he's right here. I know that's a weird philosophical argument to be having with him, but I don't agree with it, is all I'm trying to say, because I think it's perfectly fair to stand against certain things or to fight for things to change. However, I do agree with him that arguing about brands and like clothes and these kinds of things, it's probably not as important as the health issues you likely have at a super morbidly obese size, the mental health issues that are developing, the issues within relationships that are developing, the desolation, the isolation that is developing within your super morbid obesity, you know, and all the other psychological damage that goes along with it. I would think that those things are much more relevant to your life than if a brand doesn't have your size. You know, I talked about how when I was a teenager, I cared about Paramore not having my size, but I didn't think about it all the time. And I certainly didn't hate Paramore because they didn't have a 3X t-shirt. You know what I'm saying? So I do agree with him that only certain things are worth the effort, for sure. I don't think that this is a worthy struggle. You're going to have more productivity struggling against or working to fix the weight issue itself rather than this. It's like a projection with a lot of these people.
I'm never gonna find my size in shoes that I like if all I'm doing is sitting here crying how most brands only go to a 13. Fuck them. I'm gonna go buy the shoes that go to my size.
It's a good attitude, I think. It's kind of funny. I think it's true. You know, it makes sense.
A key point here.
I think that works for people too. Like if people don't like you, it's just like, because for me, like, there's a lot of people that don't like me and there's a lot of people I don't like. You know what I'm saying? And so I do try not to like, it's like you try not to like waste your time hating somebody. You know what I mean? Or hating something. I think that that's true. That's a good point.
My focus is nothing but stuck on the brands that don't make my size. I'm going to feel nothing but frustrated, irritated, singled out, and pissed off. That's a waste of your energy. Being a human being is a very valuable experience and it's a very precious thing. Don't waste your fucking time on the shit that's not for you. Don't let useless nonsense irritate you. I know social media has...
Yeah, like I said, I don't totally agree with this just because, duh, you know, I'm literally doing this to try to like change the course or change the direction here, right? So I don't completely agree with this, but I understand what he's saying.
A big fucking mental illness of its own with contributing to people lacking perspective of what really fucking matters. Clothes not being in every single person's size is very, very minute and a very minuscule thing compared to what else is going on in the world. Maybe go the fuck outside.
Dead on.
And go experience some real contrast and see what other people are really dealing with and living with.
And maybe just recognize what you yourself are dealing with. You know, look at the actual problem. Look at what's actually frustrating you. That being that size is actually what's frustrating you. It's actually what you cannot stand or what's angering you. Because when you're super morbidly obese or just obese or whatever, when you're just fat, when you're very, very fat, whatever it is, especially super morbidly obese, so it's a part of your everyday momentary experience, minute by minute, second by second. It is a part of your experience. Something not being in your size, it's not all day, every day, forever. You being the size that you are is, and it's so much worse. It's so much worse than any of that. So I think a lot of them, they should shift their focus more towards the actual problem, for sure.
And you might be a little more appreciative of your situation and the fact that you can go find other shit that does fit you. Brands are allowed to do what they want. I'm not saying they're right or wrong for discriminating. They're gonna do it. You bitching about it is gonna do nothing but ruin your emotional state and your mental state. That's
it's true.
what I want to protect you from. I gotta be a little harsh with you because I love you.
I don't know about that, but okay, whatever. Whatever, Leo.
But get your fucking focus off the shit that ain't for you so you can find what is.
Okay. To me, it's an okay take. It's nothing crazy to me. I think he's dead on about a business. Businesses can choose what they want to create. You know, like I said, I'll be damned if somebody tells me what video I have to create. You know, I appreciate my audience. Some of you guys did suggest this topic to me, and I really appreciate it. But it's like, if I didn't want to do it, I wouldn't have done it. You know what I'm saying? So I think even if fat activists would just make a request, you might actually like get it, rather than a demand, you know? Because it's like just having a request, usually people will try to provide things, and I think a lot more brands would probably do it anyways if you just like requested it. But you guys are like angry and yelling and all this stuff, and it's like, I don't know. It's bad. It's really bad. Okay, let's see what people said.
A brand.
Okay, so this is Samira. I don't even know if she says anything, but we'll have to dissect what she does, like, emotionally, because mostly what she does is she emotionally manipulates her audience. So let's go ahead and watch her do this, okay? I don't know if she said anything, but let's see.
Making your size in something does not give you grounds to talk shit and degrade the brand. Brands are allowed.
Okay, so she's doing the look of judgment. Remember, fat acceptance never judges, right? They never judge anybody for anything. They're just so free and open and loving and kind, but they never judge anybody, right? Until they do.
To want a certain look and image with their products. They are allowed to make things for the people.
Does that upset you? Look at the face. She does this weird face. I mean, this is the kind of face that can, like, haunt your dreams. It's the most fake, weird smile. It's just weird. It freaks me out. It doesn't literally freak me out, but it's like if I had to stare at that expression, that could be probably in a horror movie.
They want to make them for. I've been seeing too many people talking
What was that eyebrow?
shit recently, and it's pissing me off. People are allowed to have preferences, and brands are allowed.
Okay, the thing is that's funny about this is I haven't watched Leo, like, at all before today. He does not give a F what you think, Samira. Like, delusional. Like, I would not personally try to emotionally intimidate somebody like him. He does not care. And that's the thing that a lot of these fat activists don't understand, is that people who are speaking out against fat acceptance, they aren't the kinds that are emotionally submissive. I don't know how to describe it other than that. They're not the kinds that you can guilt somebody and they're going to stop talking about it. So people who speak out against fat acceptance at this point where we're currently at, they're already disagreeable enough, or, you know, I think in the case of Leo, he's probably more logic oriented, more of a logical person. Or in the case of someone like me, where I'm very, like, emotionally dominant, which I know that's a weird thing to say, but it's true. You know, like, if she does that look, I could do it right back, right? I could do it right back to you, Samira, and I could probably do it better. You know? So it's like, no, you ain't getting me with that, right? But I'm just saying, what you're trying to do is not going to work on him. Like, I would not, if I wanted Leo to believe something, I don't know why I'm giving them advice. I shouldn't. Never mind. Just keep doing what you're doing, Samira. Just keep doing. I would just approach it differently. If I wanted him to change his mind on something, I would think about it differently. That's all I'm trying to say. But I would do it differently.
To create
I'd have to use my feminine wiles, you know, to get him to change his mind. But you're not going to do it with. So I don't know. I don't really know. I think she's just trying to, like, do a public shame thing, but it doesn't work. It doesn't work if the person isn't ashamed, Samira. You're losing it.
Image with what they want and have a specific type of person wear what they have. Not everybody needs to be catered to by everything and everyone.
Look at how upset that made her. You don't appeal to everybody, Samira. You don't accommodate everyone.
This is a lesson I had to learn when I was fucking fat. I used to think clothes just went.
She's like, oh, he used to be fat. How fat was he? I guarantee you, Samira, he was never as fat as you. I highly doubt it. Highly, highly doubt it. But you go ahead and try to spin the narrative and, oh gosh, and blah, blah, blah. You know. Because in fat acceptance circles, the big thing is, oh, you know, former fat people, they hate fat people or whatever. Which I think it can be true in some cases. I don't think it's true in this case, though. To me, I just feel like Leo just focuses on what he's doing, basically. That's all I'm trying to say.
Flattering. No, babe, the body wasn't fucking flattering. But a lot.
So that upset her. She's like, oh gosh. So I don't know. I think that could be his opinion. He didn't like the way that he looked when he was fatter. And that's the thing. Like, you're allowed to have an opinion about your body. I don't think it's good to like absolutely hate your body, obsess over it, fixate. You know, it can become a mental illness if it goes too extreme, right? But I think looking at the body from a very logical, rational, unemotional state, and from a neutral state even, you can just see the body as it is. And you can allow it to change, and you can allow it to look better or whatever, you know. That's how I would approach it, because I do think for my more emotionally minded people who are a bit more sensitive, you know, or even just like me, right? Just very emotional. You got to make sure that you're not looking at your body through too much emotion. Look at it through some just logic and keep it grounded. You know, it's okay, like, to not think that you look amazing at this moment. You know what I'm saying? That's fine. But it doesn't mean that you have to, like, hate your body. You know what I'm saying? So anyways, I think that she was trying to, like, weaponize that more so against her audience, like those body insecurity issues, which again, this movement is very much about manipulating vulnerable people. Okay. So let's go ahead and watch this one. She's not like a big FA, but pun intended. But no, she's not like a super popular one, but I just wanted to see what she would say because, you know, when you hear one of them, you kind of hear all of them, right? So let's see what she has to say.
Not everybody needs to be catered to by everything and everyone. And
You're not catering to me. This TikTok isn't catering to me. You need to cater to me. You need to cater to me. You need to change your entire rhetoric. You need to change everything about what you're doing. Because according to you, everybody should cater everybody. So why aren't you catering me?
This is such a shitty take. Why are you even defending?
Ooh, she's edgy. Ooh, she cussed. Guys. Ooh.
Brands and not the people that they're excluding. If we left brands to cater to the certain look that they want,
again, people can care about brands. I personally don't. I think it's superficial. I think it's cheesy. I think it's corny. But somebody loves brands and they're all about it. I'm not going to hate on them. That's their thing. A lot of people think that my adoration of Taylor Swift is cheesy and corny and not for them, and that's fine. Doesn't mean I hate the person, right? Anyways, he cares about the brands. He cares about fashion. This is one of his things that he cares about. That's why he's defending it. It's not hard to figure out. It just takes a very tiny amount of empathy to understand. Let's go back a bit.
even defending brands and not the people that they're excluding. If we left brands to cater to the certain look that they want, let's be real, we would not ever see any fat people, any black or brown people, anyone with disabilities on runways or magazine covers. If we didn't...
What does that even mean? You're trying to say that no brand ever would want to have a black person on a magazine cover or a runway? What? There might be something to the disability aspect. I don't know about like disabled modeling industry. Like I have no idea, honestly. But modeling for a long time was seen as something sort of athletic or like kind of even aspirational in a sense. And it's very much based on looks and it's based on like what is attractive to most people. For a very long time, at least, people of color, you know, women of color have been a part of that. You know, at least as long as I've been alive. So I don't know why that was included. As far as the fatness piece, I don't know. I think that this could be an argument for getting rid of monopolies, maybe, or not having things be so monopolized. If you want to start your own fat runway, you could, and you should be able to, if that makes sense. But again, if certain industries don't want to do that, then I don't know if they should have to. But it's interesting to me that you would think that every single brand would never want that, ever, in any way, shape, or form. I don't think that that's necessarily true. There's been clothes for very fat people for a long time. Maybe it's not what you want to wear, but it does exist. Somebody's catering. I've never had to go completely naked. Even at my heaviest, I haven't. So I don't know. It's just a very, very strange take, honestly.
Advocate for brands to be more inclusive, we'd be stuck in the fucking 2000s where...
So in the 2000s, there were no black people that were models. I mean, I don't know why they have to add race into everything, because it really weakens the argument. It doesn't make any sense. I'm still kind of thrown on that, honestly. Like, I remember watching Tyra. I watched America's Next Top Model. Like, I don't know. I'm not saying that there aren't problems with it. There's problems with most things, even like bodybuilding. There are unhealthy habits. But again, fat acceptance cannot throw stones in glass houses. It's not exactly healthy to be super morbidly obese either, is it? No.
Only shop at Walmart because that's the only store that they had their sizes in. And also, in terms of makeup, there'd only be 4 foundations, and anyone darker than me could not even wear foundation.
Okay, but the market had demand and it was created. You didn't have to necessarily be an activist. You just have to be able to get into the market, which that would be an argument for deregulation or less fees, less things to make it easier for more people to get into the market, which I could be behind that, because I do think we should allow people to start businesses and do things easier. It should be more accessible to more people, because as far as like foundations and stuff, it absolutely was not only your struggle. I'm sure it's a lot of people's struggle, and that's a lot of money being missed out. That's a niche in the market that is not being addressed. And so I would say a lot of this argument is more so against monopolies, which I would agree with personally. Of course, that's not where they're going with it. They're thinking we should guilt and, shame and whatever brands into doing something, but just make more brands able to exist. Make it easier to create a brand. And then the best ideas can rise to the top, kind of thing. That's how I would view it. But maybe that's just my dark, twisted mind. I don't know.
This is why it's so important to push brands to be more inclusive. Like, this has made so much good change in the world.
Sure, but I just wonder, like, maybe they could have spread the wealth around a bit more. If people could have just started their own brands easier, if that makes sense, or if it was more accessible to do things like that. I'm not saying it's inaccessible. It's just maybe that should be a part of education. Maybe we should teach entrepreneurship, these kinds of things, and instill those values into our kids so that more people would be inclined to do that, But like I said, I guess just make sure that all your money goes to the corporation that didn't care about you. I guess that's their logic. That isn't really my logic. My logic would be, well, I wish, a person of color that didn't have the foundation that they needed, I wish that they could have created that foundation, been supported in launching it, and then got the money and that kind of stuff. I feel like that would be what's best, which I know there was, throughout history, there were some Black women that did that, and I feel like they should get the money, So, just saying. That's my crazy idea,
because we pressure brands to change, because we pressure brands to be more inclusive. There is nothing.
I just think more brands is better. That's all. I'm all for competition. That's where more of where I see it. If you guys want to ask for something, I think you can, you know, like if I were to, it's kind of like with the fat acceptance TikTok or whatever, like let's think about this channel, for example, right? You guys as my viewers, you can suggest I talk about something. And if I listen to it, that's great. I definitely appreciate nice requests. I don't know if I would take a demand, honestly. But a nice request is enough. Like, I'm thankful for this topic, for example. Thank you so much to who suggested it. But in terms of like, if I watch anti-FA YouTubers and they don't have the takes that I want, or they're not talking about the issue in the way that I exactly want them to, then I can make my own channel talking about it the way that I want to talk about it. Because if I feel like the aspect of it that I've experienced or that I've seen or that I've observed both in myself and other fat people, if I feel that that's not being expressed, then I can make my own channel. And I think that's the solution to the problem. Not, I shouldn't get on here and yell at every anti-FA YouTuber for not having my exact take. Just saying. It's just not it, in my opinion.
Wrong for people to want more accessibility and more options for them.
Okay. So anyways, I don't think there's nothing wrong with wanting more things, but it's the difference between wanting and demanding. I think that's my honest take. You shouldn't demand something like that. It's not good. You're not entitled. It's like a sense of entitlement. It's entitlement. So with that, you guys, I'm going to go ahead and go. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys like this. This was definitely an interesting thing. Thank you so much for suggesting it. I feel like I should shout out who suggested it. I should, if you'll bear with me. It'll matter to the person, I think, anyways. Maybe not. Watch them be like, I don't even care. Why is he even doing this? But thank you so much, Yaya. I appreciate you so much. I'm going to heart the comment. You'll know when I film this. Only you will know. Because you're special. But anyways, you guys, thank you so much. Have a good rest of your day, night, whatever. We'll be back tomorrow. Back tomorrow.